Hello Trailblazers and welcome to this new video on SFMC DevHub. In this video I'm going to walk you through the basics of Journey Builder in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So if you're completely new to journeys, automations or custom flows, this video is for you. We're going to build a simple journey together from scratch, and along the way I'll explain what the different activities do, how contacts move through the journey and some beginner mistakes you'll want to avoid. So let's jump into Journey Builder. Alright, so I'm inside the Marketing Cloud, and the first thing we are going to do is to open Journey Builder. You can find it here under Journey Builder and then click on Journey Builder again. Now, if this is your first time opening it, don't worry. If it looks a little overwhelming, once you understand the logic behind it, it actually becomes pretty straightforward. So, before we build anything, let me quickly explain what Journey Builder actually is. A journey is basically an automated customer flow. You define what should happen when somebody enters the journey, and then Marketing Cloud handles the rest automatically. So, for example, someone submits a form, creates an account, abandons a cart or joins a newsletter list. And then Journey Builder can automatically send emails, wait a few days, split customers into different paths, update data and much more. So think of it as creating an automated customer experience. Alright, let's create our new first journey. To do that, I'm clicking on the blue button here over here on the top right, create new journey. And for beginners, I usually recommend starting with a multi-step journey. That's the first one over here, because it gives you the most flexibility and helps you understand how everything works. So I'll select that one and click create. Now we need to give it a name. So first journey. And a quick tip, when you hit save, always click immediately on the organized button over here, because then we can select our folder where we want to save it. If you don't do that, it always be saved in the root. Okay, so this is your journey canvas. This is basically where we visually build the customer flow. At the top, we always start with an entry source over here. This determines how contacts enter the journey. And on the left side, over here, you can see all the activities we can drag into the flow. You can think of emails, waits, decisions, updates, SMS activities, push activities, advertising, and a lot more you can choose of. So for this example, I'm going to use a data extension entry source because it's one of the most common setups. So to do that, we select data extension, click and drag it on the canvas over here. Now, first we need to configure it. So to do that, we click on the icon, we select data extension, and then you can navigate to your data extension you want to select. I already prepared one. Select your data extension, and there you go. As an extra, you can filter on contacts, but I will leave that for now. Click done. The second thing you can do, or do it later, is to schedule your journey. For now, I will do it immediately, so click schedule, and then you can choose of 3 different types. You can choose of run once, recurring, or automation. For now, we choose run once. Click select. We can edit this one. We can say on activation. It means that when we activate the journey, it automatically runs immediately. Or we can choose for specific date and time. So, for example, I will just do something. And you can select your time zone. Click summary, click done. I always recommend to save if you have done several steps. One important thing to understand here is that Journey Builder doesn't magically know who should enter. The entry source controls that. So whenever a contact matches the criteria in this data extension, they can enter the journey depending on the schedule and re-entry settings. So how can we do this? First, go to the icon over here and select Journey Settings. Here you have three options. No re-entry, meaning you can only enter the journey once. Re-entry anytime means contacts can repeat the journey multiple times. Re-entry only after exiting means that first your record needs to exit the journey before re-enter again. For now, we choose no re-entry. Below the contact entry, we have the default email address and the default mobile number. A journey always needs one of those. So you can choose for a default email address, you can choose for a default mobile number, or both. It depends on your data extension and what you want to do with your journey. It recognizes immediately if you have an email address or a phone field in your data extension. So for this example, we select here for email address. Google Analytics tracking is only available if your Google Analytics account is attached to your Marketing Cloud. The Journey Builder high throughput sending is something I will discuss in another video. Click Done. And now we are finished with the journey settings. Okay, now let's add our first email. To do that, we go to the activities, click and drag the email activity to the canvas, like so. Then we need to configure it. Here we can either select an existing email or create a new one. Click the activity, click select message if you already prepared an email, or click new message to configure a new email right inside Journey Builder. For now, I select message and select an already prepared email. Now we have select our email, we need to prepare the message configuration and the delivery options. So we click on edit, and here we have to choose our saved send classification. I will not go into detail, but for now I choose default transactional. For the delivery option, you can select your publication list if you have one, or just leave it for the all subscribers. So now what happened is, a contact enters the journey via the data extension we selected, and they immediately receive the first email activity. And then they continue to the next step. In this case, the record will exit the journey. That's basically the core idea of Journey Builder. Contacts move from activity to activity automatically. Now usually you don't want to send emails back to back immediately. So let's add a wait activity. To do this, we go to the flow control, select wait by duration, and click and drag it to the canvas behind the email activity. Here we can select the activity, and we can say if we want the duration for 1 day as a default, but we can also choose for minutes, hours, weeks, or month. For this example, we choose 3 days. Select done. Pretty simple. Now let's make the journey a little smarter. I'm going to add a decision split. This allows us to create different paths based on customer behavior or data. So for example, did the customer open or click the email or not? Again, we go to the flow control. And here we can select engagement split. Again, we click and drag and drop it behind an activity. We can open the activity. Then we can select the message. If you have one message, it automatically selects your first email. Do you have multiple, you can choose which email you want to use. Now on the left side, we can choose for message metrics. And here we can say if we want to select opens, clicks, or bounces. For now, we choose clicks. So for this demo, I don't have a URL, so I will add a demo URL over here. I will click add and hit summary, hit done. And of course, we will save this. So what will happen after 3 days? The activity will check if that record clicked on that URL that URL that is stored in this email activity or not. If it clicked, it will go to the path over here. If it did not click on that URL, the record will go to the no path. This is where Journey Builder becomes really powerful, because now you're no longer sending the exact same experience to everyone. You can personalize the journey based on engagement, profile data, purchases, loyalty status, basically anything stored in the Marketing Cloud. So, for people who clicked the email, maybe I'll send a second engagement email. Or for the people who didn't click on the email, maybe I resend the first email with a different subject line. That's actually a really common marketing strategy. To do this, we can just select the email activity again to the yes path and the same to the no path, and then change the emails. Before activating any journey, always test it first. This is super important. You want to check, are contacts entering correctly? Are emails sending correctly? Are decision splits working? And are weights behaved as expected? A small mistake in Journey Builder can affect thousands of contacts very quickly, so testing is critical. Now we can do it manually by clicking the Validate button over here, and immediately we see what is wrong with our journey. We didn't configure those two emails. Another option to do it is just to hit the Activate button, and then Journey Builder automatically will do this check. My recommendation is always check the Validate button manually. Once everything looks good, we can activate the journey. To do this, just click the blue Activate button, and then you can activate your journey. From that moment on, contacts can officially start entering the flow. That's basically when the journey goes live. Now, after activation, you can monitor the journey performance directly inside Journey Builder. You can see how many contacts entered, where they currently are, email performance, exits, and overall engagement. This becomes really useful once you start building larger customer journeys. Before we wrap up, let me give you a few beginner tips. First, keep your journeys simple in the beginning. A lot of people try to build massive, complex journeys immediately and it becomes difficult to maintain. Second, always think from the customer perspective. Ask yourself, does this flow actually make sense for the customer? And lastly, document your journeys. Once you start having many journeys running at the same time, documentation becomes extremely valuable. So, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope that gives you a good understanding of how journeys work and how contacts move through the flow. In future videos, I will go deeper into Journey Builder, but for now, I hope this video will help you. If this video helped you, feel free to like, and if you didn't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching.